Welcome back to Racing Across America. Happy to be joined as we are every Friday morning by Dave Rodman from Laurel Park. Good morning, Dave.
Hey, good morning, Seth. You want to switch positions today?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think that would work for your patrons. I think my audience is having enough trouble listening to the frog man today.
But I hope you feel better.
Yeah, I feel fine. It's just the crazy voice isn't working for me. But
right.
No TV tomorrow, so plenty of tea and honey, and we'll get it back for Sunday. But
right.
Let's talk a little Laurel, and also, as we've been doing all week long, at the end of the conversation, we'll get some Breeders' Cup thoughts. But for folks who are playing Laurel this afternoon, what's the weather look like?
Well, it's a breeze day, high in about the mid-50s, about the same for tomorrow. We had quite a bit of rain night before, and that will be Wednesday. It's today, Friday. That'll be Wednesday night, and it looked like it was going to slack up yesterday, and then we got another burst in mid-afternoon, and it poured after the races yesterday. I mean, poured. So we're off the turf today, but breezy and partly cloudy, and hopefully we'll get the turf back in shape for tomorrow.
Sounds good, and we'll kick things off this afternoon. Excuse me, taking a look at race number 5, which is the opening leg of your 20-cent jackpot pick 5 wager. The fifth today is an optional claimer, 40 tags, non-winners and one other than for 2-year-olds, and this was scheduled on the turf at a mile.
Yeah, first let me say that the 16-horse Pancakes and Batter at this point is not in. They really want to run this horse. And they're trying to hopefully wait for another scratch. That is the Rudy Rodriguez horse. And if he does run, I think he's going to be very dangerous. But as I handicap it now with the scratches, number 9, All I Care About, is a colt that has been on the turf 3 times, all 3 starts of his career. But Ignacio Correas and Sagamore Farm had a good week here. Tiz Gale, a going-away winner on the turf earlier this week. She ran like she's really going to do some damage at Gulfstream Park in the winter. I think they're going to bring her back down there on the turf, keeping this colt in at this point on the turf, or rather on the dirt, off turf. The foals out of the dam, Road to Hannah, 8 for 25 on the dirt, and the 9-horse here, All I Care About, is a half to I'm a Lucky Lady, 6 for 18 going long. So you see some running lines in there. Speaking of Breeders' Cup, the Grade 3 Pilgrim won by Imperia, who ran, well, not so well, but a troubled trip in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. Vision Perfect, next out winner as well, so kept tough company, but I think this colt is also very capable on the main track. 9, All I Care About, going to use with the 5 and the 6 in there. And again, the 16-horse, if he does run, I mean, those look like really the 2 to me, the 9 and the 16. They really want another scratch out of that race to get him in. I think they're anxious, Rudy Rodriguez is, to get this horse in.
All right, we'll keep our eyes on that as the afternoon progresses. The 8th race this afternoon, an allowance, non-winners of one other than fillies and mares, 3-year-olds up, going 7 furlongs, and my man Jonathan Shepard in here with the number 2 Happy Face. Which direction did you go?
You stole my thunder there. Almost. Yesterday, I know I wasn't on yesterday, but on a little handicapping show with Keith Bustel yesterday, was my handicapping partner. I gave him a Till the Cows Come Home exacta that actually hit, and I think we might have one here too.
Nice.
I think it's a 2-filly race. Happy Face, or Jonathan Shepard filly, and Ul Charisse, who scratched out of a spot yesterday, going 1 mile and an 8, was entered for main track only, but scratched and elects to go to the 7 furlong allowance today for trainer Graham Motion. I can tell you Ul Charisse is going to be the favorite in here, most likely, based on the lengthy Delaware score at 1 to 5. But looking back at that race, she beat 4 horses, and one of them broke poorly, kind of broke in the air, and was out of the race immediately. And the other fillies were, so-so. So she beat up on very little, but she did it in hand and galloped out well. But I tell you, Jonathan Shepard's got a fit filly here, Happy Face by Exchange Rate coming in. She's had 2 runs at Laurel on the turf this season, in the Brookmead, a respectable 5th at 16 to 1 after chasing the pace and retreating, and then a troubled trip last time out in a tough field, Chiffonade and Subpoena, an allowance company on the turf. And she's a maiden winner on the dirt at Tampa. I went back and looked at that race this morning. The rider hardly ever had to get into her there to win in her second start. and she ran a number I think is equal or better to the 5 in Charisse. I think it's a 2 filly race in here. You're betting to win, obviously. You know which way you're going to go, right? The Shepherd higher price.
Yeah.
But I think it's a 2 filly race, 2-5, 5-2, until the cows come home, and I see them kind of coming over the horizon now.
And talk a little bit about the rider on the Shepherd horse, 5-pound Apprentice Martinez.
Yeah, Frey Martinez has been riding mostly at parks and having some success up there. He's ridden here in Maryland before. So Shepherd giving an apprentice a chance in here. He's still learning, and I think it's a good thing that he's, giving him a chance on this filly in this spot. I'm just hoping that he can kind of save some ground and, not going to get too wide and too cute in here.
All right. Excuse me. Let's move out to race number 9 this afternoon. 14 to 16 maiden claiming tags. These are 2-year-old fillies. They'll go a quick 5.5. Your thoughts in the 9th?
Number 3, Cotton Letters, is going to be the pick in here. She's back where she began her career in her debut on September the 11th at Laurel. A good closing second there. After being 3 wide in the turn, she was finishing best of the rest against Mo Bagels. Mo Bagels has since been claimed by trainer Dan Kobisky and ran in the Maryland Million. I believe it was the Lassie. And to no avail, but she came back to win big here the other day. She's won a couple of races since that maiden score. And then last out, she was no match against the speedy horse from New York who was a pronounced winner on the tote board from the Rudy Rodriguez barn named Tamar's Girl. Chased the pace that day, much to my surprise. She was right there in the 22-4, 46-4 in the speed of Tamar's Girl when she really has done her best running, at least in her debut, from off of the pace. And I think you're going to see maybe a different kind of ride today with Karamanos. He's been really sharp here in sprints on the dirt this meet, 11 for 84, Horatio Karamanos. First time hopping aboard this filly for trainer Ollie Figgins. So, I don't know, I'm just conjecture that he's maybe trying to shake things up a little bit, maybe didn't like the way she was too close to the pace last time out. I think she's in a right spot here. And he used with the Royalty, 7-horse Royalty C, adding the blinkers on for trainer Phil Schoenthal. I think her first 2 races would obviously do. And look at who was in one of her running lines at Pimlico in the Rollicking. Government shut down, pretty say I, but Hootenanny was third in that race. So bringing us to, I guess, a Breeders' Cup theme. We got a couple of horses on the program who run running lines dotted with Breeders' Cup horses.
And let's bring it back to the Breeders' Cup. Before we get to some general conversation, we're asking everybody this week thoughts on the Classic, the result, and the non-DQ.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't think anybody was going to be happy no matter what happened, right? At the end of the day. My first impression, and I can tell you I did not have a monetary interest in the race, did not bet the race, was, he's got to come down. I guess like everybody's initial reaction. But, hearing the actual rule of racing in California and reading it and hearing Stuart Scott Chaney speak about it, I mean, I think they made kind of a tough decision, but perhaps a right decision in that respect. I know there's a lot of arguments that, he wiped out his speed rival or speed rivals, and there was no way that Byron was going to grab the lead by himself. Well, let me ask you this. First of all, I asked one of our stewards here, I'm not going to name his name, and he said they made the right decision. We would not have taken him down. At least I would not have voted
that's interesting.
to take him down. The second thing is, getting into handicapping races as a steward, if you're going to draw that line and make that applicable to every race, I'm thinking about on February the 8th of 2015, on a mile maiden $8,000 claiming race at Laurel, where there appears to be 2 or 3 speed horses in the race, and one of the speeds happens to break inward or outward and bumps and crushes a couple of other speed horses in the first jump out of the gate. I'm not talking about, down the line. Do I particularly want a steward going, you know what, if that horse had made the lead, he would have dueled in a half of 50 and 2/5 of a second and blah, 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 and make a decision based on that. So I don't think anybody's going to be happy with the decision, and I'm sure people will disagree with my opinion on it, but There's been a lot of talk about that race.
Any thoughts coming out of it now? Horse of the year?
Main sequence?
I think your first reaction was where a lot of people are right now. I think that's where a lot of the voters are stuck at this point. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Just generally now, what were your thoughts on the 2 days? What performances stood out to you, both human and equine?
Well, main sequence, the Kent Zormo, Texas Red, correct? That's
Yeah,
horse.
yeah.
And Day at the Spa. There's just a lot. I mean, you have to give credit to Byron for digging in.
Yeah.
I mean, I realized that. Now, another point that someone else had made to me was if you go back and look at the head-on again, the Classic, after he was bumped leaving the gate, and before Star in New York kind of came in and interfered with Moreno. I think there was a little bit of room in there, perhaps, to maybe send him through if they really wanted to grab the lead.
Yeah, I think there was.
So, I mean, there's an argument that's why I get into the question of someone in authority with the power to take a horse down of handicapping a race and projecting who was going to be where. I mean, it's all fine and dandy when you're dealing with top caliber horses, perhaps. You kind of know what their form is going to be. But when you're dealing with a non-winner as a 2 or non-winner as a 3 or a maiden claiming race somewhere, I'm not sure whether it's as clear cut, perhaps, as handicappers would like it to be. Big effort, I thought, from California Chrome. And a lot of people say, well, clear trip, et cetera, et cetera. But I mean, I just perhaps a little bit biased since he won the Preakness, and so those are my main standouts for the weekend.
And having some Maryland connections, what was the buzz? Was there any buzz out there on the Rosie Napravnik announcement?
I missed it completely. We kind of had the sound turned down, and a friend of mine had called me to tell me, or texted me to tell me. Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's everything's kind of working out timing wise with her. With her husband going into training, and she's doing the right thing, and be a mom for a while, and she's got options and great talent if she wants to come back. I don't think she's ruled it out, has she?
No, in fact, in the post-race press conference, she kind of left the door open. So we'll see. Somebody at the top of the game, you wonder how long they'll be away.
Also, we want to mention, too, I don't know if we mentioned it last week or it maybe happened after last week, Laura Lee Glazer, an apprentice, won here at Laurel Park with her very first mount. Speaking of Rosie, who won for trainer Dickie Small in her first mount at Pimlico. So maybe a name to watch. She's been on a couple of 3 long shots, like impossible long shots, since that first ride and career first win. But on a horse today, I'm trying to think of where she is. I think it's one of the cheaper races, who actually perhaps has a little bit of chance. I think it's in the 3rd race, maybe a use underneath. Laurel Cove Proposal in an absolutely impossible, all over the charts kind of race where horses are in and out of form. This horse did run back-to-back big races at Laurel in September, October of last year. Showed a sign of life or 2 this year, but goes to this apprentice rider who is a graduate of Chris McCarron's North American Riding Academy today in the 3rd. So just an apprentice to keep your eye on. Rosie, began her career here in Maryland with a bang, and she looks like she's got a little bit of a future. Laura Lee Glazer.
And I did see that and saw she got the traditional flour and water dumped on her and whatnot after the win. But it's even more impressive when you can do it in a career debut.
Mm-hmm. I want to mention, too, I know all of your listeners are in New York, but if anybody's going to make their way down here for the weekend tomorrow, we are going to honor Victor Carrasco tomorrow at the Maryland Racing Media Association Crab Feast. It's basically a crab feast that awards Newsmaker of the Year. We give out the Humphrey Finney Award as well. And so Kieran McGee will be honored, and also Harold Snyder, who is the founder of International Sound, doing a lot of sound and video and graphics for racetracks well, all over the country, really. So those 3 honorees, including Victor Carrasco. So we'll be eating the crabs, and you'll hear a lot of hammers cracking those Maryland steamed crabs open tomorrow.
Nice.
Tomorrow night at Laurel Park.
That's open to the public?
Yes. Tickets are $60. There's a silent auction as well. It's just a good time. You see everybody in the racing industry come together, and we award scholarships to youngsters in college. And you don't have to be young; you could used to be in college and apply, and giving away scholarship money for school. Folks going to vet school, marketing, whatever they're doing on the side of working on the backstretch here in Maryland. The galloping horses, walking horses, grooms. So we kind of help our horse racing industry in Maryland in a good way.
Nice. Crab feast in Maryland, nothing like that. And let me ask you before we let you go, Dave, when is Pie Day down there?
Oh, Thanksgiving, of course.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
I remember last year you were on saying you walked up to your booth and smelled pies all the way up.
Yeah, I think a couple of years ago they decided to cook their own pies because the bakery they'd purchased from them had gone out of business. I don't know what they're going to do this year. I haven't started to smell apple. It's too early for that. But, for 2 days prior, it was just apple and cinnamon. And, I had to come to work. You had to come work on a full stomach, or otherwise, I had to be down there just, grabbing everything I could from the food court.
Yeah.
Because the smell was wafting up there. Yeah, it's usually apple or a pumpkin. I guess they're going to do it again this year. That's our pie giveaway day. Yeah.
Yeah, I love apple pie, so I can relate totally. Dave, we'll let you go because I also have to wrap up as the voice is rapidly going away. But we appreciate the visit. We'll be back on our game next week.
Right, no problem, man. Next week, we do have the Francis Dash coming up as well. That's on the 15th, and so it's going to be a big week with some stakes action as well in December. A filly that won yesterday, E. Dubai's Humor, pointing to either, she's 2 for 2 now in her career, either the Maryland Juvenile Filly Championship, which she's eligible for at the end of the year, or the way she won yesterday, she might try Open Company early in December in one of the little 2-year-old stakes we have here. She's a promising filly. Don't know how far she'll go, but she won a wrapped up yesterday with Grant Whitaker, trainer Donald Barr.
Sounds good. Next week, we will preview that to Francis with you, certainly. So, Dave, again, thanks for the visit.
Okay, Seth, and hope your voice gets better by the next time you have to talk.
Okay. I think that's guaranteed. Thanks, Dave.
Okay.